Confirmation of the agenda. Councillor Vyden, Deputy Reeve Campbell, all in favor? Disclosure of pecuniary interest, if any. None noted. Moving to the consent agenda.
I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Singh, seconded by Councillor Ritzman-Taninga. All in favor? Carried. Yeah, okay. Kathy, what's the next? 6.1.1, Kathy?
Included in the package, we have Alice McDowell, who lives in the East Wallanosh Ward. She's one of our retired school principals, has shown an interest in becoming a marriage officiant for us. She's going to be taking the course in August. So if council is willing to appoint her as a marriage officiant, I made her appointment September the 15th so that she will have completed the course by that time. So if council wishes to appoint her, I will prepare a bylaw for the September the 15th council meeting to appoint.
I'll move.
Councillor Knott, Deputy Reeve Campbell. All in favor? Carried. What's next? Laura, consent application. Can you read what has to be read? My glasses are on the way, but.
Oh. Make note of that, Kathy. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Read the part. Okay, that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby recommends approval of the consent agenda file B51 2017. Owner Murray and Joyce Vincent, applicant Vaughn Vincent, part lot 36, concession 9, East Wawanosh, Township of North Huron, 3900 378 Belgrave Road, with the following conditions, and I can explain those further in my presentation as they're in my report. I'll do the short presentation to this. So this is a file for a severance application with the purpose of enlarging an abutting lot. The land would be severed and enlarged with the property to the southeast on the corner of Scott Line and Belgrave Road. And the land to be severed is approximately 1.6 acres and is vacant, and the land to be retained is approximately 94.4 acres and is vacant with an existing agricultural use. So it would be a portion of the farm that's supposed to be severed and added to the abutting residential lot. There's the information with the file number and the owners and applicants with the location of the property. So as mentioned, 1.6 acres severed off, 94.4 acres remaining. The zoning of the property and the farm that's the subject of the severance is AG1 general agriculture with some NE2 natural environment limited protection zoning on it as well. And it's designated agriculture and natural environment limited protection. So you can see on this aerial photo, outlined in the green is the proposed retained land, which would remain its agricultural and farm use. And outlined in the red is the proposed severed land. And that is proposed to be merged with the corner property there, which currently contains a house. Comments received throughout the circulation period from Huron County Public Works. There has been an update since the report was written and submitted to council. They did confirm that they would allow the applicant and the owner of the house to apply for a second entrance for a second driveway off of Belgrave Road. They do understand this isn't necessarily the typical commercial entrance, as that's usually covered in more of an urban area such as Wingham, and it's also not going to be used as a standard residential entrance as well, and it would be more ideal for vehicles and the vehicles that are being proposed to be used on this property, because the applicant is proposing to add a home industry to the property, as well as something like a shed that the second driveway would utilize for the home industry. Currently, the lot area for his residence is insufficient for adding something like a shed for a home industry. And as well, it was also proposed that the lot addition would allow room for the structure and accessory use, and also the option to improve site servicing by possibly relocating the existing septic, which is currently located in kind of the southwest corner at the very corner of the intersection of the road, which having that in that location has caused it to experience issues with its functioning. So relocating it to the portion of the property that's proposed to be added would improve the overall site servicing. Here's a photo of the proposed severed parcel. As mentioned, the remainder of the parcel would keep its agricultural use. The consent policies in the North Huron official plan do permit and contain criteria to permit a severance in an agricultural area, including lands to be conveyed to an abutting non-farm use, provided a minimal amount of productive agricultural land is involved and it is for convenience or servicing purposes. And as mentioned, this would provide an opportunity for improvement for servicing and convenience to allow space for that home industry, which is permitted on the abutting property because it is zoned AG4. So home industry is a permitted use on that property. You can see the corner of and the existing driveway for the abutting property, as well as the portion that's proposed to be severed and merged with it. And there's a closer look at the proposed severed area. If the proposed severed lands are merged with the abutting property, the retained farmlands would still meet the minimum size of 38 hectares for a farm as identified in the North Huron official plan. And they already do have their own existing entrance onto Belgrave Road. We wouldn't be needing an alternate one or an additional one. One of the conditions that's being recommended, in addition to the standard conditions for a severance, is that the applicable entrance permits are obtained from the Huron County Public Works should a second driveway be deemed necessary for that home industry. So this is found to meet the policy, be conform to the policies of the official plan, and is consistent with the zones that exist on the property. Neither property would have to be required to rezone as a condition of this severance, just that the severed land merge on title, and as well, if applicable, 1 foot would be surveyed out and conveyed to North Huron if this property has been severed off of the existing farm. So I'm recommending approval with the attached conditions as outlined in the report.
What, Ray, you're moving?
Yeah.
And Deputy Mayor Campbell second. Any discussion? Okay. Anything that you want to add, Murray or Vaughn?
I think she's covered things quite well, yeah.
All in favor of the motion? Carried. Yeah, yeah.
We need to do our little.
Dirt, Bill?
Shall I put forward that we put down 2, no comments received, and then would be, A would be also 2, and B would be 2, because we received no comments from either the public or any agencies. Is that right? Makes sense?
You just repeat that. Two would be, two right there.
Yeah, 2, and then under A would be 2, and under B would be 2 as well.
Ray and June, okay with that?
Yes.
Being added. Okay, moving to 6.2.1. Cancellation reduction. Donna, do you want to speak to this?
Thank you. I don't think the Rosendals are in the audience tonight, but this meeting constitutes the requirements under the Municipal Act that we have to have under Section 357 agreement. So as outlined in my report, some of these applications take quite a while to move through the system, and one of them is the municipal property, which was our Blythe Lawn Tennis property that's finally being made exempt. So that's been going on for since about 2014. So it was returned.
Long before.
Yeah, it was returned on the roll on the 2017 roll as exempt. So we're actually, I had applied to MPAC for the previous years to be able to have those taxes written off. And then we have one application regarding a demolition permit that was also sent to MPAC. And MPAC did recommend going back the 3 years on this property. The demolition permit was issued by the Township of North Huron, so we know that the information is valid. So as I said, this meeting constitutes requirement under the Municipal Act that we have to have. And the total credit for the property owner listed is $1,896.91, and then the township's property as well. So are there any questions on that?
Do I have a mover? Counselor Sight, Counselor Knott. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Moving to 6.2.2. Maybe you will, or can you- here. That for clean water and waste. Donna, do you want to speak on this as well?
Certainly. So we're very pleased to find out that we have received this grant funding. Jeff had started this application process when he was still here. And the project was to be able to undertake a water and sewer, wastewater, water and sewer master servicing plan, including a detailed EA design on the Wingham Standpipe project. So this is a 50% federal, 25% provincial, and 25% municipal funding program. And the total funding amounts to $320,000. And at this time, we have to get the agreement signed and returned in order to be able to proceed with the project. And at the same time, I believe that Jeff had updated council that he was working with BM Ross on this project for all the background information. So what we're asking for tonight is that we be able to enter into the bylaw, with the agreement through the bylaw, which was attached to the agenda package, and that we would be able to have an exemption to allow the bylaw to be passed this evening with the 3 readings, because it's urgent that we get the funding underway as soon as possible. And further, that we are allowed to have BM Ross proceed with the master servicing project as per the background information that we've had.
Okay, mover and a seconder, Counselor Vaughn, Deputy Reeve Campbell. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Moving to 6.3.1. What is your pleasure, councillors? Councillor Knott,
I'll move that we accept this.
Councillor Vaughn, seconded. Discussion? Councillor Sight.
The only discussion I would have is that, again,
trying to understand the context of why we need to have the exemption of the procedural bylaw for 19.1. Like what is the reasoning that we can't wait another meeting for public consultation?
Pat?
Right, so the group, Transfigure Town, came here and presented their intent to use the campground. And we've been working through the details of that. And so we've had no public come forward to suggest that it would not be a good idea. We've reached out to community groups, we've reached out to the BIA. The Transfigure Town Inc. is anxious to get this underway and signed so that they can then turn around and sign all of the contracts for tent rentals, sanitation, waste management, and all the things. They also want to put to rest any rumors that it's happening in Blythe, it's not happening in Blythe, because they have 9,000 ticket holders that are anxious to find out what's happening further with this event. They're also looking to launch the website to start bringing in another couple hundred local volunteers, and they want to do that as soon as possible to nail that down, as the event does seem like it's far away, but when you're planning this size and scope of event, you need as much time as possible to nail down all of these other contracts, which we have drafted and seen drafts of, but they want to nail down and move on to the next stage of planning, which is due back to us at the end of this month for some of the other items in Schedule A. So that is why we're asking that section 19.1 of the procedural bylaw be exempted so that we can actually sign the rental contract now. And in most cases, the department would be signing the rental contract. It would not be coming to council, but the size and scale of the event and the previous motion means that we're bringing this forward and asking council to adopt this bylaw and sign it on behalf of staff.
Brock?
I'm very much in favor of this project. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for it. But I have to say that the organization is not doing themselves any favor by putting the ridiculous ad that they put in the local paper, the last issue of the Citizen. It's absolutely incomprehensible. It's a huge ad, but takes about 3/4 of a page, and it's made up of mostly gobbledygook, which I suppose fits in with the theme of the event, but it doesn't really make much sense to people who are reading it. So if there are suspicions about the thing, that might be the source.
Particular ad, I think, was put in by somebody else.
I don't know.
So
That you know nothing of an ad in last week's paper. Okay, it is another property owner in Blythe that put that ad in, I believe.
Oh, I don't know. I spoke to someone involved with the paper, but I didn't get any details.
Okay, I'm not going to mention any names here. Pat?
the key people from Transfigure Town are here, Reeve, if you want to ask them to speak at this juncture of the meeting. I do want to share, but that is another reason why we're asking that we can dispel all the myths, that they can start to promote exactly what's happening, all the activities that are going to be presented in Blythe, that we can start moving forward beyond the concept of it coming to Blythe, and that it is actually coming to Blythe. And this is everything that people who have tickets have to prepare for. Are they buying their parking passes in advance? Where will the shuttles be coming from? All of the things that ticket holders need to know specifically about the event, but only Transfigure Town could speak to the ad. I'm not familiar with it myself.
I believe it was completely a different person.
Okay.
That in close to the end, there's property noted on Main Street.
Okay.
So I guess my follow-up question is, you, Pat, and the staff, we don't see by signing this rental agreement that there's gonna be any hiccup come from the remainder of Schedule A that would deter this project from going forward. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, every item in Schedule A has been either discussed in draft or we've seen the 90% plan or the final plan for it. So, and dealing with Transfigure Town, they're very receptive to us, even though they've submitted the plan saying, that's great, but we need you to tweak it a little bit differently, or we need you to get one more security person over here, or they're completely cooperative in their dealings with us. So to answer your question, no, we see no future hiccups in adopting this rental contract. Having said that, a rental contract can always be declined by the township should something not come forth with that we are requesting. That's right in the contract. Any permit is like that.
Okay.
So we're confident that we are ready to move this to the next step and firm up all the plans that are tentative right now.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Anything further from council? All in favor? Carried. Yeah. 6.5.1. Councillor St. Louis,
I will move for discussion.
okay. Second, Councillor Ritzman Tenenga. Go ahead, Councillor St.
I have a concern in the fact that this specific individual doesn't report directly to council. The only person that reports directly to council would be the CAO. I'm not sure why this would be seen to be outside of the boundary of why a council or a committee of a hiring committee be established with a counselor on it for this particular job. We don't do that for any other job within the municipality other than the CAO. So, or maybe the director of public works, senior management. I'm not sure why this is the case. So maybe I was not anticipating when we asked or we suggested the approval of hiring this individual. I was not under the impression that a counselor, and maybe it's that we would have to sit on it, or what purpose we would have to sit on it. So I know Ryan's not here, but if Larry would like to respond, or I'm not sure. So
Go to Larry.
In the absence of the fire chief, this was brought forward by the chief himself, and he thought it was an important enough position that council should be aware, because this person will actually be the vice principal of the school, and is the second in command as far as police or as far as service is concerned. And he felt it warranted council's involvement.
That the one thing that fire chief asked me if I could make myself available, and I said I would if that was council's decision. Bill, go ahead.
I was just I've had several conversations with Ryan regarding what he was up to, because we were trying to accomplish a couple of other things at the ESTC. And at the same time, he asked me if I would be willing to sit there as well if that came up, and I said I would, because I do think it is important for us to have someone there and make sure that we're following down the direction that council wishes to go, because we do need to get the ESTC off and running and get something happening there. So as far as the committee, yeah, it's a good idea, no question. So.
Councillor Ritzman Tenenga.
I would nominate Bill to be on the committee.
I'll accept.
Okay. Okay. Trevor and you. Right?
Do you have to be nominated? No.
It's up to council. Yes.
I'll do
Okay. Um,
Can I recommend that we actually have two people? We have yourself as well. Can we do that? I don't think this is really a formal committee of council, so I think we could adjust that, right?
I think what you have before you here is a suggestion.
Yeah.
And council can amend that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, how do you feel?
I'll second that nomination.
The Trevor and Yolanda moved the motion.
Motion can stay like that if they want to.
Wanna-
But you can, that's up to you, both, if you want it both, I don't care which way we do.
Okay, Trevor.
The one question I will say is, well, then whoever comes off the top from this committee, is this committee making the decision on the hire, or is it coming back to council for council consideration? Guess that's my question, because this is not a normal process. So what council's given direction to hire this person, this group is to hire, not come back for us to do any more motions after
That
today.
would be my understanding.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're clear, because it's not a consistent approach the way we've hired people, so.
Bill,
I'm going to make the comment that I believe in this case, it's actually Ryan's decision to hire. But what he wanted was council's input as consultation to help him with this decision. Because he is so new in the position that there were things that could be brought by the council members to assist him in making that decision. But I believe under the way we set it up, it is his final decision who he hires to work with him. We're there to assist him.
Okay.
okay. All in favor of the motion? Carried. Okay. Moving to 7.1, the Valley Festival Bonanza Week. Use your pleasure, council.
I'll move.
Councillor Sight moves. Councillor Knott seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay. In council reports, from a meeting that we had over CAO procurement this morning, there is the possibility of a special council meeting at 5 o'clock next Tuesday, the 25th. So that I think that's the biggest thing that I have to bring forward at this time. Is there any other council members want to report on anything? Councillor Vaughn.
I'd just like to encourage people to come to the 140th celebration in Blythe on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday next week. The advertising has been a little bit hazy in some areas, and so I'd just like you to keep it in mind and notify your friends about the opportunity will be there. Thanks.
Okay, Councillor Singh.
The one thing I did want to bring up, it's been a week or two, but it has been on social media that the Building Bridges Foundation, or Building Bridges to Our Future campaign, had successfully finished the phase for the school playground. So that has been, they've successfully rendered all of those costs in order to get that playground up and running. I suspect, I haven't got any details about when that playground equipment will be installed, but I know there has been some discussion about sweat equity that will probably have to be rendered from people within the municipality in order to help with some of those costs. So I am gonna ask, we haven't had a general meeting for a while. So what I'm gonna ask the chairs if they could come back with maybe a report to council, just so that we get a sense of where the committee's at, what's going on left to do, and see where the progress is, just so that council can be aware of what the rest of the progress is and an update on cost going forward. So I thought that it was exciting news though for the group. It's been a long 2.5 to 3 years. And I think that is a success story in itself for the municipality. So I'd like just to say congratulations to them.
Okay, thank you. And one thing that sort of triggered was that admittedly we accepted the correspondence that from Huron Federation of Agriculture wanting people to assist in the politicians helping with so-called power hours or through the international plowing match. If I know that Ray has already been lined up, as well as myself, if some of the other ones on council would be able to assist at the food court for some of that. I know that Lisa has committed to one day and possibly on the Friday as well, so that it's something that could be interesting. Thank you. Okay, anything else in that? Okay. No requests of members, no notice of motion. Okay, moving to the bylaws. That bylaw number 66, 2017, being a bylaw pertaining to water service connections in the township of North Huron in the hamlet of Whitechurch, be introduced, read a first, second, third, and final time, signed by the Reeve clerk and engrossed in the bylaw book.
So,
Councillor Vaudin, Deputy Reeve Campbell. All in favor? Carried. Bylaw number 67, 2017, being a bylaw to authorize the Reeve clerk to sign on behalf of council a transfer payment agreement for the Clean Water and Wastewater Fund, CWWF, Ontario, between Her Majesty the Queen in Right of Ontario and the Corporation of the Township of North Huron, be introduced, read a first, second, third, and final time, signed by the Reeve clerk and engrossed in the bylaw book. Councillor Richmond Teninga, Councillor Hallahan, all in favor? Carried. Bylaw number 68, 2017, being a bylaw to authorize the Reeve clerk to sign on behalf of council a facilities rental agreement between the Corporation of the Township of North Huron and Transfigured Town, Inc. for a festival of wizardry, be introduced, read a first, second, third, and final time, signed by the Reeve clerk and engrossed in the bylaw book. Councillor Knott, Councillor Wadden, all in favor? Carried. Any further announcements? And this is the closed session.
Yeah, for the closed session, we need to do it
Okay. For the closed session, that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby endorse the clerk's designation of powers and duties under section 228 4 of the Municipal Act 2001, SO 2001, C 225, to Larry McGregor, interim CAO for the Township of North Huron Council meeting, closed session of council to be held July 17th, 2017. Councillor Syke, Councillor Biden. All in favor? Carried. Okay. And for the motion to go in camera, Councillor Syke, Councillor Allen, all in favor? Carried. Short recess now.